you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. What I'm going to tell you here, I don't believe it myself. I'm still here. I was born in Poland. The Polish population was 34 million, 3,200,000 Jewish people. 3 million didn't make it back. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made it. I'm here. We lived on the border. There were too many Jewish people lived there. We had 12 families in our town. In the beginning, Hitler invented Poland just like a lightning. Took over Poland. And the first what they made us do, to wear a yellow armband. And then they gave us a Star of David, one in the front and one in the back. Then they gave us numbers. The number what you saw on the screen over there, I still have it. Picture yourself. You wake up in the morning, September 1st, supposed to go to school. There's a war. Then started trouble. Months went by. Then a friend of ours came in and told us, there's an order. They're going to give you 48 hours, get together as much as you can. You're going to go to a ghetto. The day came, from all the towns, they had a total of 125 adults and children. Then they put us on horse and buggy, and we traveled to the ghetto. You saw the ghetto at the beginning, the picture with the bridge? That was the ghetto. They put us in a home, and then they closed up the ghetto. A lot of people were coming from all the cities. And then they told us, you're going to organize your own government. Then, after a while, they told us, asked us who speaks German. Sign up. Now in the ghetto, the only Jewish people lived there. I speak the language. I waited in line. As I was approaching the table, the desk, he looked at me and he said, how old are you? I said, in December I'm going to be 10 years old. And he told me, you're 15. Not only 15, you're going to be a mechanic. Why did he say 15? Anybody know why? Yes. Pick up louder. They was young, you couldn't produce nothing. You don't have the right to live. You have to do something. So what happened? They put me in the office giving out ration cards. So I was giving all the places. This was my job. 6, 7 months later, they came and ordered, all men and boys, you're going to go to work for 3 months. I signed up with my father, and we went to a camp to work. And then, what I'm going to tell you now, you're going to appreciate life. I wind up almost from where I came, in the big city, Posen. They put us in a camp, a stadium, took out all the toilets, put up the bunk beds you saw. The bunk bed made from wood. We were lucky they gave us some straw and a blanket, no pillow. We got there, and then had waited in line. That was 176. There were a total of 900 of them. My number was 176. We had to wake up every morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, take a shower. They gave me a slice of bread in the morning and a coffee, a slice of bread in the evening, In a soup in daytime, if you find a potato or anything else in it, you were lucky. And with this, I lived and survived and suffered for 5.5 years. Then, there was no factory to work. They put us to work on the turnpike. Gave me a hammer, big rocks, chopped the stones. And I worked there for months. When I got the slice of bread, the first I ate it right away. And then I was hungry. And I learned quick. At the time I got a slice of bread, put it behind my shirt, and I was nibbling on it to last longer. And months went by, I noticed the foreman got himself a trailer. And I walked over to the foreman, and I asked him if I can do anything for him. He said, "What can you do?" I said, "I'll make your bed in the morning, clean your place up, polish your boots, and bring your food from the kitchen. And for me, the most important thing, how can I get to the kitchen? If I get to the kitchen, maybe I can pick up some extra food." But the kitchen didn't want to give me nothing. When I brought the breakfast, the guy finished it. Then he took the plate with the food and threw it in the trash can. And guess what? I went to the trash can, took out the plate, took out the food from the trash can, and I ate it. And he was laughing. And then the same thing happened at lunchtime, every day. I didn't care if he's laughing. And months went by. And then, one day, they told us, there's a meeting. It's an order. The gathering, and they come in to talk to us. And then he asked, anybody speaks German? 900 guys raised their hand. And he was laughing. And I was, never forget it, I was maybe 8 or 10 feet away from him. And I spoke to him in German. If I need something, I can do it. He said, "Good, you speak German? Give me your number." I gave him my number. And then weeks went by, nothing happened. Then they called up. And they told us, get 10 boys together. How many boys? And you're going to start collecting trash. Everybody in camp was envious. They figured maybe we're going to pick up some food out there. Now, the Polish people, they have ration cards too. In the beginning, they didn't know who was collecting trash. But they found out. They started dropping off bread, mostly bread, wrapped up in paper. But they told us in the camp, if you bring any food to the camp, we kill you. And then, months went by, we was collecting it. And one day, when we got together, when the guard dropped us off, he said, 4 o'clock, you're going to be in this corner of the street. We got there, 3 boys were missing. We waited 15 minutes, he took us back to the camp. 2 weeks later, we didn't know what happened to them. Came home from work, the building I got off a tree. The next day, the stadium was full of people. They brought those 3 boys, put them on a chair, put the noose around their neck. I will never forget it. Anytime I talk about it, I see it. And the guy, this is the SS, turns around to the public and he says, I'm going to give him 10 minutes time. Let him call God, and God help them. God kills me. Then they're free. Suddenly they were talking about God. For no reason, they were killing us. They had a saying, I feel sorry for you, but I have to kill you. They didn't have to, but they did. They hung those guys. For what? Why? Because they went out and begged for bread. The whole world knew about it, what's going to happen. Hitler was imprisoned. He wrote the book, Mein Kampf, My Fight. Everybody knew what he was going to do, but nobody cared. I call him crazy man, a bully. But the people didn't care with the whole world. And then, anytime There were 25 labor camps. Only the Jewish people were there. Anytime somebody commits something, they brought them to our place, the hanging was gone. Then was work. After collecting the trash, he said, tomorrow, I'm going to give you some uniforms. You're going to wear some uniforms and go special work. Wind up the cemetery. All the graves are open. And we got there. He gave us a little bag and a little hammer. He told us all the jewelry, all the crosses, anything, even the gold and silver teeth, goes in this bag. If anybody takes anything, you wind up with them, company with them here. They worked for months. The beginning, I didn't feel too good. But then I got used to it. We months for one cemetery, then we went to another cemetery, another cemetery. And then, suddenly I'm sick. I have typhoid, I have temperature. I didn't admit it because I was afraid they're going to take me and kill me. A lot of people died. There was no doctors there, nothing. And then a year went by, and then they closed up the camp, put us in a passenger train. We wind up in Auschwitz. All the train came to a place, Birkenau. All the gas chambers were there. When I got over there to Auschwitz, to Birkenau, I saw the people standing before, I was there. The music was playing. Those people waited over there. They thought they were going to take a shower. But they killed them, they gassed them. And then they put us on trucks. It takes only 3 kilometers to go to work, to Auschwitz. I waited in line. Then I approached the guy over there. This was an assessment already. They're bad people. And he looked at me. He asked, what's your number? I told him 176. Then he asked me if I'm against Hitler. What do you think I said? What would you say? No. When I said no, he got up. I thought he was going to hit me. Then he said in German, but you are Jude, you're Jewish. I said, yeah, I'm Jewish, but I'm not against Hitler. Then he said, get out. I got out, walked out to the door, opened the door. There were thousands of people there. From every country in Europe, there were people there. Everybody was wearing the blue and white stripes, uniforms, with a number here, and stars, different stars, triangles. Then, first, the guy gave me a haircut. They cut a strip in the middle, the hair, they left all the hair. Then they gave me a tattoo. I remember it had a pen with a needle in it, punching hole. Give me another number, 141631, the number what you saw before. In the beginning, I looked at it. There was ink, so I squeezed the ink out. I wiped it off, it was almost pale. Then they made sure next time I got it, and I'm still having it till today. Then they asked my number. And the guy, the manager over there said, the engineer, you're supposed to be a machine mechanic. I didn't know in the ghetto that I'm a machine mechanic. I know I'm a mechanic. I didn't know nothing about mechanic, but that's the way it works during the war. So what happened? He said, I don't have machines. He took me to a stand with a piece of block of steel, and then he said, file it down to a certain size. I was filing it, nothing came off. Now I'm skin and bone already. It's almost 2 years. And then what happened? I noticed there's an office, somebody sitting in a glass office. I had the guts to go over and knock at the door, and they told me later on, you were lucky they didn't kill you. I walked in and asked him if I can help him anything. because I spoke the language. He said, okay, you do it, work with me. And what happened, I worked for him for months. Every breakfast, lunch, he left some bread, wrapped it up in a piece of paper, threw it in the trash can. Then he turned around, looked outside, and this was a hint, and I went over there, picked it up, put it behind my shirt. It was going on for months. One day I took the piece of bread and I put it in the drawer. I don't know why I did it. Somebody hits me in the back. I wind up on the floor. And the guy got up quick as possible. I was afraid he's going to kill me or step on me or anything. And then the guy said, open the drawer. Now I know I'm dead. He looked at the bread. He said, where did you get this bread? I told him I got it from Czechoslovakia. He knew better. He must have saw what's going on. Now, why Czechoslovakia? If people knew somebody home or the family could afford it, they could send packages through they could send packages and they got them. I was getting every Sunday 2 cigarettes. I didn't smoke. I still don't smoke. I told him I got it from him because he wants the cigarette. But the guy didn't believe me. So he put me behind electric wires, 6 o'clock after I left the factory. I waited till 9. I didn't get any food anymore. And then in the morning I woke up, took a shower, and I'm waiting in line for my bread. They said, nothing for you. I went back to the front, waited till 8 o'clock, and I was afraid if I move around anything, I'm going to get electrocuted. 8 o'clock, a guy came with a machine gun, took me outside. Then I said, God, why? And he took me to the commander's office. I can never forget it. I can see it now. He was looking at the table over there. And I told him, Commander, I have to go back to work. They need those guns to fight for our country. When I said it in German, for unser Vaterland, he looked up and he was laughing. I thought he was going to take the gun and shoot me. And he said, go back to work. Work for our country. But next time if I see you here, I hang you upside down. I thanked him and I walked out. When I walked out, this is over 3 years already, I made up my mind, I'm going to make it. Don't give up. And guess what? I worked in the factory building those guns. And then, after 5 years, they're closing up Auschwitz. The American landed already. The Russians were coming already. Then they put us in cattle car. They put us in a cattle car, and we go to another camp, Mauthausen. The cattle cars, we had no toilets, no food, no nothing. It would have taken us 4 or 5 hours to go from Auschwitz to Austria, Mauthausen. It took us 5.5 days. We were traveling back and forth. After 2 days, I was hungry, and there was snow over there, and I know outside. I had a coat and a jacket and a shirt. I took off the shirt, cut it in strips, made the rope from it, hooked up my little red cup, and put it outside. I prayed to God, please let me pick up some snow. I picked up some snow. I didn't give it to nobody, not even anybody asked me to give it to. People were dying. And then after a while, there was no snow. We traveled for 5.5 days. They put 3 guns on the same train. The Americans were bombing the railroad tracks, and the Russians were bombing. So we were going back and forth, until we wind up on January the 17th, in Mauthausen. Another godforsaken camp. They gave us a shower. Guess what? They said they have no place for us. Stripped naked, they took us, put us outside. They have no clothing for us. I was outside, we walked around thousands of us. I thought I'm gonna die, catch a cold, what? Then they gave us clothing, no more the striped uniforms, just regular clothing, and took us inside, put us on the floor. Next morning we woke up 4 o'clock, took a shower, they gave us breakfast, and they took us to another camp. Other camp, now I'm going to build planes. There were times that no food was coming into the camp either. When I used to walk back from the work at 6 o'clock, I picked up grass, I picked up leaves, took it to the camp, got a piece of wood from the bunk bed, and I boiled the water. There was a transport was there was a doctor there from Hungary, and he saw it and he said, you better eat the wood too because the wood became charcoal. I'm gonna prevent diarrhea. And I ate the wood too. And after 5.5 years, on May the 7th, there's a roll call, machine guns all over. There were more dead people in this camp, in the barracks. And the guy told us, 11:30, the American gonna come down the mountain, and you're gonna be free. Go back to the barracks, anybody walks off in the barracks, get killed. I waited there late in the barracks, and then the American came. There was a lot of shooting and screaming and hollering. Then the American gave us food. They told us they're gonna have food every day, but don't overeat. If you're gonna overeat, you're gonna die. I saw a piece of bread. I never had something sweet the whole 5.5 years. I took some jam on it, I ate it, and I made sure I don't overeat, listen to them. Then, they didn't let us out from the camps because they were afraid of diseases. So we stayed in the camp for months. Then, after 4 or 5 months, they said that now, if you wanted to, you can go home. They opened the camps. And they also opened an office. The Canadian opened the office, the Australian opened an office. I signed up to go to America. I want to get out of Europe. Because I was born in Poland, there's a quota. You have to wait for a quota. And then they told me, anybody, if you want to go to Italy, there's food and clothing and homes for you. You're going to live in apartments there. So I went to Italy, stayed there for 7-8 months. Then a group of guys, I got my strength bag. And then a guy said, let's go to Paris, France. We went to Paris. I wound up in Paris, and I went to a Jewish organization. And they asked me if I told them the story, and he told me, don't tell them you came from Italy. They're going to send you back to Italy. You can't stay here. Tell them you came from Germany. They never send you back to Germany. And I told them. Then he gave me temporary way to work, a job. And then one day he said, somebody wants to see you. He asked me for a last name. I gave him a last name, and I was lucky enough, I still remember it. And a lady came in, she said, I was talking to her, and after a while she said, I'm a second cousin from your father's side. She invited me to come to her apartment. I went to her apartment, then a young girl came in, said, she introduced us, my sister-in-law. And the young girl says, I was in the camp 2 for 3.5 years, and I worked in a factory making cloth for the army. And I told her that I'm going to America. I asked her to go to America with me. And she said, I have the family here. I didn't give up. I started talking to her, then we started dating. And then we got married, and we came to America. Now I came to America. I don't speak the language. I'm speaking 4 languages. I don't speak language. And guess what? I still have a problem. Anybody could tell me who came up with the spelling? Anybody has problem with spelling? I have still problems. I'm still looking for the person. Nobody knows who came up with it. But I'm doing the best I can. I came to the state, had no job, nothing. They put me in a men's factory. And then after 2 years, guess what? I went in business. I opened my own store as a French interior decorator. I was in the business for 32 years. Let me say something. It's still the best country. Not everybody's rich, not everybody's poor. That's life. All the things what I went through, almost every night I said, please God, let me see the light the next day. When I hear that some young girl or some young boy commit suicide because somebody was bullying them, please, if somebody gives you a hard time, just walk away. It's not your problem. They have a problem. Don't do any stupid things. Remember, it's their problem. Nothing is perfect in life. If somebody gives you a hard time, don't want to give up, tell the teachers, tell your parents. I will never forget, never forgive what they did to me. But I don't live with hate. If you live with hate, you're destroying yourself. If I have to look at my arm every day and see my number and dwell on it, will bring back memories. Then I will start hating. Then I will destroy myself, just with the hate. Don't live with hate. I know it is easier to say I hate you. Stay in school, get educated. With education, you can be anything you wanted to. If you get older and you can afford to go to universities, go to tech school. They need electricians, they need plumbers, they need always something that no machine can replace it. You make, if somebody now he makes $50 an hour fixing a car, but stay in school. And if you can pick up another language, do it. Anybody speaks here a different language? What language? Spanish? ¿Cómo está? Very good. Anybody else? Go ahead there. Yeah, you. Yeah.
Turkish.
No, I don't know Turkish yet. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. ¿Cómo está? Molto piacere. That's what I know some words, and I still remember some Italian. Anybody from this side? Yes. Verstehst du mich, was ich sage? You were born here? Nein? Then Mr. What? Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Go ahead. Spanish. You. I can hear. All right, you speak. That's good. You speak. Anybody? Yes. How about you? Ukraine. Как поживаешь? Добре. Good. I only know some of them. That's it. We spoke in Russian now. Anybody else? Go ahead. Arabic. Wait a minute. كيف حالك؟ مبسوط? Thank you. That's all I know. Anybody else? Now, ladies and gentlemen, any Polish descendant here? Speak Polish? You were born here? You were born in Poland? You're born here? Your parents speak Polish, right? You speak Polish too? See, they couldn't hide nothing. Usually they take another language. You shouldn't understand. Kiedy rodzice przyjechali do Ameryki? What year? Którego roku? He doesn't remember. Which year he doesn't remember. All right, now I'm finished.